Hi, okay, you're doing great. We're working hard. Isn't this fun? You should be starting to get warmed up already if you've been following along and modeling your first character in Cinema 4D. And you should be learning about how to move, scale, rotate, rectangle selection. I have the little tools from up here pulled off because we have this special little drop down over here. I think it came out a few versions ago, seems like. um, they always have new upgrades and it's so exciting, but still you're like, wow, I just figured all this stuff out and now there's more to learn every time there's a new version. And I can never keep up with them, but that's good because it's something to goal towards. So we're learning about just modeling and being on the rotate tool and the live selection tool, selecting points. Right now we've been modeling in points with the points on these little edges, and we're making a little drag. And I'm deciding right now kind of where my polygons are going to go. And I'm modeling in point mode. So select point mode, make sure that your character, your 3D object is selected in the object manager up here on the right, the dinosaur. And so I'm going to click this point that we drug out to begin with off of our sphere, because we started with a sphere, cut it in half. Remember, we deleted polygons off of it, and there's so many different ways to model. And I'm going to click back on the coordinates, and when I click this, it changes the direction of my my tool, my arrows, my coordinates, X, Y, and Z. So notice when it's in world mode, they're going straight up, down, or so I can from my selection, I can go straight up and down on the Y, and I can go left and right on the Z, or back and forward depending on which way we're facing. But I'm pretty sure that, yeah, the Z is normally back and forward, and then the X is side to side. So I'm going to undo that because I wanted that to stay right there. Smooth, lined up there. Okay, so I'm just going to pull this out a little bit, and I'm going to select these points here. Let's see what I'm doing. You can zoom in and out with your 1, 2, and 3 and drag. So if I click 1, it's going to move me up and down and all around. If I click 2, I'm going to zoom in and out. And if I hold down my 3 and drag with my mouse, I'm going to turn my entire 3D world. And then you're going to get used to doing that. You're going to practice. Ooh. You're going to get awesome. And it's going to be so fun. And we need to enjoy what we're doing right now and have fun with what we're doing right now, today, because today is all we have. So I'm selecting this line here, and I'm going to hold down the Shift key to add more points. to my selection, and I'm going to swing around here. And so I'm going to click on my live selection tool here. And I'm going to come over here and I'm going to look in my attributes, because this is where all my live selection options are, right here in this box. And if you hold down the live selection, you can choose these other live selections: polygon, lasso, rectangle. But I'm going to turn this check off on only visible elements, and that will, then I'll be able to select through this my image placeholder background plane that I had set up earlier. And that will help me to keep my polygons a little bit straighter there. And then I'm going to also move this one in a little bit back to the wall, back through the wall. There we go. So isn't this fun? Isn't this easy? It's time consuming. You got to be patient, and you practice with this and you get faster. And then you could spend all day in here, and I usually end up spending, when I get in here, oh my goodness, I love to play with the colors. Colors, 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 as you can see. Sometimes I go out and buy bottles of paint, and I end up playing with the bottles of paint for the whole afternoon, and I don't paint anything because I love colors so much. I love to sit and change the colors and watch them, and I love lights. I think that's part of why why we love cartoons and animation. It's those colors. They just feel so good. Color really affects my mood. And some people like really calm colors. So really, I'm going to turn this and pull it back a little. Just rotate it a little bit more. And pull that back like that. Okay, now, are we doing great? We are doing so awesome. I'm happy now that I went this way. I wasn't quite sure. So I'm going to select these 3 points right here. And I just clicked O on the keyboard. And that centers our whole object, the dinosaur object, which, wait a minute, was I on the, yes, I had to have been on the dinosaur. Okay, so, and then I clicked O. So if whoops, I just dissolved some. Did you see that? That was, okay, that was a little mistake. You caught me. And doing this with you, guess what? I'm catching more of them. Okay, so if I select these polygons, or these little corners, I'm on the point, in point mode, polygon points mode, and those are selected. And if I right click, and what I had accidentally done was I clicked dissolve. And see, it just dissolved those points. And that is really cool, isn't it? And then the blue lines just show me, that Cinema 40 is saying, to keep things right, you need to make sure that there's a cut from here to here. And they're helping me along. I'm not sure exactly the terminology, but I know that much. But that looks kind of cool, doesn't it? Big triangle, square, triangle or square pulled out, put a line in it. Anyways, this is just fascinating stuff. I love it. So I'm just going to edit and do. So that was cool. You can play with that all you want. Right click while you're in one of these polygon modes, points, lines, polygon, you can right click and get this menu and play with all of these. And I encourage you to do that too. Just open up a file, grab yourself a cube, a plane, any one of these 3D objects, and just go play with it, and then delete the file, save it, open a new file. Because I think what a lot of times I did in the beginning when I started modeling in 3D, I was so excited just to model that perfect character. And once you get into that mode of modeling, you can't stand making mistakes. And I wasn't in school. There weren't very many Cinema 4D help anything. There weren't very many books. I'm not a huge reader. Help is up here in the right. And even these help files, they were kind of scarce and hard to read and hard to understand for me, because I'm a very visual, audible learner. And that's how I'm going to be teaching too, is with visual and you can hear, see, touch, feel. And then with these videos, they're so awesome because you can rewind them. So I encourage you to do that. I encourage you to file, new, make a new file, open up any one of these objects, say the platonic, and there you have it. And you click right on it up here in the object menu. And remember, all of your options are right here in the attributes box. And you can, as soon as you remember to click make editable, and then you can hold your mouse over all of this. This is one of the cool things, is that Cinema 4D, competing with Maya and many of the other apps, 3D Max, back when we bought this, look, you can hold your cursor over, and you can, if you have vision issues, you can make your font large or small so you can see all your menus and your stuff. I go crazy in some of the Adobe products because, like After Effects, you're squeezed into this tiny little space and you can't see, anything. So you would just go ahead and open up this box, make it editable, and if you want, before you make it editable, you can click undo to get back. You can set the segments. Be sure to turn on the display, grid shading lines. Okay, now you can see the segments. And this is cutting it up and segmenting it for you. And look, it's segmenting it in triangles. So each one of the objects up here, actually not there, here, edit, undo, or just undo right there. Here we go. You got to hold your mouse down when you click on it. All of these objects have the segments. So once you choose one and it's in the seed, before you make it editable, up here, right here by clicking that just makes it so you can start clicking on it, cutting into it with your mouse. These objects have segments, so you can leave it low, leave it high, make more, play with this. You can shape it the way you want. Look, Tetra, cool, Bucky. Ooh, isn't that beautiful? So before you really build anything or start, what I mean by build, before you draw and start with one polygon and drawing out, you can get an object, pull it out in the scene, get a light if you need a light, or just put the daytime in. Where is it? It's not, oh, here it is. Put the sky in. Get some light on it. Create a material. Give it a color. Blue. Slide the second bar down. There you have blue. Leave it shiny, whatever. Make it purple, whatever. And then voila. You have a texture. Click it, drag. Click and drag it down. And then see the plus, how the cursor changed to plus. Drop it. And we can edit or Control Z to undo that. And you can also just drag it up here and drop it right on your platonic and name it whatever, new thing, new toy, whatever. Oops. Anyways, so then you can play with all the tools. Click this. Now it's edible. So you can get onto you can come over here, come right over there, and get right onto polygon mode. And now see, you can select it, and then you can start playing with right click all of these tools. This is bevel. So you don't have to wait around like I did and get all obsessive about I did that. All I wanted to do was make a 3D character, and but I suggest before you get all uptight and excited and crazy, and even if you are doing that, give yourself some time to say, okay, this is my play model. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to break it. It's okay to figure out what this does, what this tool does, what that does before I go do it on my, on my character that I'm working so hard on. Because I think that for a lot of us who want to do character design, or if we want to build a beach house or something that's, that really matters to us, then when we make a mistake, it puts more stress on us. So you can get in here and just start playing around while you're doing that other stuff and learn what these tools do. And then if you want to learn fast and quick, you just go right up here into the help file, show help. If you installed this when you got it, try searching whatever tool it is, like what is this this matrix. We can put that in and see what comes up. Matrix. You can't see that because my font is black, but and then you click enter on the keyboard because there is no button to click. But in this search, you put your word in, and then you click enter, and they all come up over here. And I'm gonna have to fix my colors because I messed them up in here, but that's okay. And then you can start reading and learning. Just one little thing a day, one little thing. And that way you're going to be giving yourself a lot more flexibility to learn quicker. And I have two files open. I have the one open, and we go to Window. Cinema 4D you can have more than one thing open. So that is really cool. And you can make new files. You can say File, New, and then you can work in different files to build things and play with things, and then save them out, and then import them into each file. So saving a lot, backing up, opening new files is something I started learning later. I just kind of got compulsive and obsessive and crazy. I got so addicted to this stuff. and I started modeling, and I would get into trying to figure things out, and there weren't, like I said, back when we started, there were not a lot. The program's been massively upgraded, and there's so much cool stuff. But still, those basic things, we get into building, we get, the character in here, like we do. We get that character we want. We like to draw. We draw a character. And then, actually, I wanted to close that. That's why I wanted to start with something really basic, because it looks like I got an oil tank in here accidentally. Delete that. And I wanted to do something really basic to start. And I sure wish I would have done this so long ago. But no, I had to make things hard on myself. So I love working in here, and I love teaching, and I'm really excited to. My husband and I are moving more into groups and getting with groups and doing stuff with people, and it's awesome. So get an image if it helps you in here, and like I said, I was all ready to do a full-blown 3D character. Wanted to do, I wanted to start from the top instead of from the bottom, the beginning. And I think I gave myself a headache. And watching some of these other tutorials on here, I think there's quite a few other people that did it the same way. So who cares about speed videos? I see them up on YouTube everywhere, and I'm like, oh yay, but I didn't learn anything. Right? It's the basic things that you're going to learn, that you practice, that are going to help you, so that you're not halfway through your project after, a few months of work, and you're like, oh no, I can't believe it. Do I really have to go all the way back? Because I was so excited to get animating. And if you don't, it's like computer software programming. If you don't get things in the right order, you know what? You're going to break it. And you can say, I want it to go this way, though, and the program's going to say, sorry, I don't do it that way. And so it's best to go the way of the program, the way it teaches you to go. So I'm starting with teaching these tutorials with very basic modeling, and a lot of the things that are going to matter, so that when you start modeling your character, you do it in the right order. That's the one thing I learned. And no matter how bad you want to jump ahead, you can, but just keep it with your practice projects. Don't start getting too up over your head, because there is an order of things. You have to finish out your model, and then you have to get the weighting correct, and you have to get your UVs laid out. And I spend a lot of time coloring and texturing everything, and learning to do UVs later. And there's a way to set things up, especially for game characters. So we're going to be learning all of that. And you're doing a great job, and we're going to see you in the next tutorial. Bye for now. You're doing a great job.